Case number 603-6404, 2013 GMC Terrain, front-wheel drive, 2.4 LUA engine, Denali. Came in for lube, oil, and filter, rotation, right rear flat repair, brake inspection, side detection system warning on the DIC, which is the Driver Information Center. Got that up here in my tech notes. Now what I've done is I've put my job order number in the first name portion. I think this is how I'm going to roll moving forward. So I've got the vehicle running, warmed up, already took it for a drive just to check the brakes and everything. Didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. And I want it to be nice and warm when I do the oil change. So first thing I want to do here is I did see this warning on the DIC. It's not going to be up right now because I hit the menu button to check my tire pressure sensor readings, and you can see the right rear is at 33 psi, so we got a slow leak in the right rear. Let's look at, maybe I can scroll through here. Yeah, so it's not going to come up until I start driving the vehicle again. Anyways, let's do a code scan. So in case you're wondering, I'm in the vehicle information is where I was. The vehicle history, I went in there and then I entered all that information in to save it. So we're currently connected to the vehicle. We're going to hit scanner, of course, and do a complete code scan. Now it's a GM, so I can scan it while it's running, do a pre-scan. Okay, so it's done. 21 systems have been analyzed. You can see in our BCM we have a couple codes for the sunroof position. Okay, we'll make note of that. Those are history and failed since last DTC clear, so not sure what that's all about. Maybe they've been having some issues with their sunroof. Side object detection module, left side. What did I just do here? Accidentally hit a code. Okay, so we've got a B as in Bravo 101 Delta electronic control unit hardware code, historical. Then we have a B094 Bravo left side object detection control module, signal invalid, symptom 08, historical. Again, tire pressure monitoring system is just reporting those codes for the sunroof tilt sensor, it looks like. Quick check of readiness monitors. All these have completed. So I think the first step here is going to be to go into these codes for the side, these two codes here, and let's just hit the diagnose and see if there's anything out there for TSBs. And here it's saying replace battery for tips, okay? Looks like there's a lot of TSBs. Let me click into that and kind of review some of them to save time. Basically, a lot of TSBs concerning the battery on this one. The one diagnostic tip here, diagnosing vehicles with OnStar DTC. What we need to do is we need to look at that code a little closer and in the actual service manual, but none of these have really what I'm looking for of any help. So let's look at the other one. We're going to hit back up here and back again. And you can see that's a 00 symptom code. So, we'll make note of that when we do our vehicle health report. So let's click on this B094 Bravo. See how many TSBs are out there for that. And didn't find any. Now again, replace park assist sensor, 9 hits. And this isn't what I'm going off of. This is just, I'm looking at that, just keeping that in the back of my mind. And down here, if there was, SureTrack information, of confirmed fixes, they'll give you information down there. So where do we want to go from here? Well, let's click into the side object detection module on the left side, and let's see what we have as far as data display. Okay, so here it's giving us our software numbers and where we're at as far as the module is concerned, as far as updating, what update it's on. So we'll have to go out on AC Delco's website and check that, make sure it's up to date. So that's all we're going to get as far as information on here. Now, I haven't hooked the Audible up to see what data they're going to allow me to look at. So let's exit. Let's see what they give you for functionals. Okay, so the rear cross traffic audible alert, rear cross traffic visual alert, object detection alert indicators. So that's allowing you to do that. Now, I did notice on the test drive that here is our switch for the lane assist, and what it does is you'll see this little indicator up here come on when I switch it on. So I'm going to switch it on, and you can see that the light came on, and you'll see up in the, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. Let me turn the headlights on once. I'm not sure why, but up here in this little display, there's a green, it might be because I'm not driving, because it was on when I was driving. There's a green indicator that'll come on showing that it's on and active, and when you start to cross the right line, the actual painted line on the roadway, or the dotted line down the roadway on the highway, whatever, that little indicator you'll hear an audible beep warning you that you're crossing over that line, to you're not staying in the lane. Okay, and then that indicator will turn amber with the warning. Now, that was working just fine. If I click on the collision avoidance, all right, collision alert, that comes on, that's functioning. If I click off, you can see like it off, on, so it's giving me the option. Now, I don't know exactly the details behind this. I'm obviously gonna have to research it, but I just thought I'd show you guys that. Okay, this is going to be a new, I've never diagnosed a left module issue on one of these, so this will be a new diag for me too. Now, the other thing I want to make note of is, let me get out of the vehicle and show you this. So on the left quarter here, on the left side, you can see this vehicle has been hit. Not sure if that's our issue, but it's awfully ironic. So we're going to ask if this light and this warning came on after this collision. So since this is new to me, I'm going to hit the cross traffic alert. I just want to see what engine must be running and transmission must be in reverse gear. So let's put it in reverse once. Let's hit continue. Let's see what this thing does. Let's hit on. I'm not sure if this is actually working or not. Off, on, off. Let me try turning it on. So it doesn't seem to be doing anything. Let me put it in park. So that's for rear cross traffic alert, visual alert. How about rear cross traffic audible alert? Let's see what that does. And I'm just playing with the tool, guys. Alright, I got it in reverse. It didn't tell me to put it in reverse, so let's see what it does without putting it in reverse. Oh, I heard it. So that is working. Okay. And object detection alert indicators. Let's go to that once. And let's hit on. Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. You see the little... Did you see that warning come on? Let's see if it does it on the right one. Off, on. But it's the left side only. Interesting. Why is the right side not coming on? Let's hit off, on. It didn't come on. That's weird. Okay, so let me see here. Let's hit off, on, see if anything comes on the dash. I don't see anything. Okay. Well, not sure if that's an issue or not, guys. Like I said, I'm new to this. So let's hit back. And that looks like all we get. So let me get some research up here. This video may be a few parts, guys, because I'm trying to give you as much as I can. Let's go to desktop. Come on. All right, let me get Protoman up. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to document my codes, and we're going to start doing some research on these codes so that we can get as much information about this side object detection system before we proceed. But before I do that, I'm going to run over and ask my service writer to contact the customer and ask, like I said, if this happened after it was struck in that left front quarter there, okay? Just so I can get some history on this and some more information. But I'll get you back on once I have everything up. All right, a few notes, guys, before I get started on this. I'm going to do a quick visual inspection of everything for the oil change, the rest of the vehicle inspection. But I did find out that the vehicle, the owner had hit a deer, and she's not quite sure whether or not it, the indicator for the side object, the warning system came on after that or not. So not real helpful, but at least we know what caused the damage. We'll get into that more in depth here, but it's quick inspections. The brake fluid in this thing is black, very dirty, okay? So it needs a brake flush with brakes if we end up doing brakes. The overall level it looks like it's full, so I'm just looking at oil condition. Throttle body is really dirty, so that needs to be cleaned. I have it disconnected right now so I can open it up. And the reason I want to do this is because I want to take a peek down here in the intake and see if I see a big puddle of oil chilling down there, indicating that we got PCV problems. So let me just see if I can give you hopefully you can see down in there. What I'm looking for is a big puddle of oil down there, and I don't see it. So that's a good thing. I did check oil level. So oil level and condition, that looks good. Oil's dirty, of course. Belt looks worn. I noticed it was a little noisy when it was running too, so we'll recommend one of those. Air filters has got debris in it. It's not dirty per se, so that should be fine. I will check battery health here. I did notice a high side port cap missing, so we'll put one on there for them. And I didn't see any leaks or anything when I was looking around, like with the tranny lines, whatnot. Topped off the washer fluid, checked the coolant level, that looks good. Again, 80-some thousand miles on it, so not too bad. It will get a cabin filter because it came out in pieces and it was very dirty, so obviously the cabin filter. Now the other thing on these 2.4s is here's my air box, and I'm going to tip it. And what I'm looking for is, you see where the breather is from the valve cover? If you see a lot of water and moisture come out of these things and it's just pouring out, it's time for an intake, time for possibly a valve cover, okay guys? The Pcv system is part of the intake on these, and they'll start consuming a lot of oil, and eventually they'll blow out the rear main. Yeah, rest is history. Alright, all I'm doing is checking voltage on this battery. Now, you can see the battery's been replaced, okay? I have no indication that I have a bad battery, so I'm not going any further than that unless, I need to. So, that all looks good. I'm going to get it up. We're going to shake it down and check suspension, check underneath, and check the brakes. Oh, one note. I did notice the wiper blades are starting to make a lot of noise, and they're not wiping quite all that well, so we'll recommend those as well. Alright. I don't know if you can hear that. Both sides are pretty much like that. So when we take these wheels off to do the rotate, we'll look at them a little closer. Right rear shock is leaking. And we're just looking for obvious things. I shook down the front end, it's tight. This control arm bushings are starting to split. They're not horrible, but they're aged. Looking for leaks, mounts. That all looks good. And all I'm doing is just looking for anything obvious, guys. Looking at the boots on the CVs. It's got an electric rack, so that's good. Alright, let's get the oil draining. So, it's time for brakes. It'll get rotors, and then we'll just advise them. We'll check the park brake shoes when we get it apart. I already took a look at all the park brake cables. I don't see any obvious signs of heavy corrosion or anything, or splitting, and any reason to indicate that they don't work. But it's kind of what I do. I get a visual of everything. I looked at the lines. The one thing I will do before I recommend anything is I'll go around and I'll make sure I can crack all these bleeders, so we can recommend flushing that old nasty brake fluid out of here and prevent future drag. Now the front brakes, a lot of pad life there, so these have been done already, most likely. We do have a left front output seal that's starting to leak, pretty common on these GMs, so we'll recommend that. Let them know that it's starting, it's not horrible, and probably just service the transmission when we do that. So let me start writing stuff up. Alright, so just so you guys know, when our service writers pull in cars for us, they do a bulb check, so that already was done. Alright, so I'm just going to give you guys a quick breakdown of my recommendations after doing, all of my initial, the oil change, the rotate, the brake inspect, and the flat repair, and all that stuff. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what I'm going to give my service writer so you can see how I do it, and if you find it helpful, great. If not, whatever. But anyways, so I wrote it out. Number 1, lube, oil, and filter for the half hour. 5 quarts of Dexos, 530 with a half gallon of wash used. Cabin filter, falling apart, very dirty. Additional 0.4. Clean air box, air filter, debris and dirt, 0.1. Air compressor drive belt, worn, noisy, 0.7. Rear shocks, right rear leaking, suggest in pairs, 1.4. Front lower control arm bushings. Now, obviously those aren't horrible, but we will let them know that they're worn and starting to tear on both sides. Now, if they do bushing R&R, it's 1.8. If they do control arm R&R, it's 1.4. Four-wheel alignment, suggest check / adjust after control arm work. You don't have to obviously do a four-wheel alignment with shock replacement. So to check it, 0.8. Cancel if adjust is made. Adjust, 1.6. Tire rotation, 0.8. Includes TPMS relearn. Brake system inspection, 0.6 hours. Rear pads, rotors, and system flush. Rear pads at 2 to 3 mil, worn out. Rotors condition, rusted / not machinable. We will inspect and adjust the rear park brake shoes and hardware upon rotor removal. Pads, rotors, and flush system, 1.6 hours. Park brake adjust, an additional 0.7. Add 0.4 for R&R if we have to do the actual park brake shoes. We won't know that until we take it apart. Right rear tire flat repair, 0.5. It was the valve stem and the bead was leaking. That was our tire guy. He did that. Service side detection warning, diag / testing, 1 hour. Again, that's in progress right now, and I will definitely get into part 2. They're going to want to figure it out, so I'm going to have to diag it, but I'm going to have to do that in a part 2. Other items noted during the lube, oil, and filter, these are things that came to mind after I got done writing. The left front output shaft seal is starting to leak. To do that, it would be an additional 1.3. Flush the transaxle. Now, that's a recommendation after the seal, based on the mileage, and just knowing these cars, I usually suggest just flushing the system. So, additional 1.1 hours, and then we'll use 14 quarts of Dexos. Now, some of you are going to be like, that's a lot. Well, that's because I take the actual cooler lines off and flush out the torque converter, okay, and get it clean. That gets the entire system clean. They can certainly do a drain and fill if they want, and we can get them time for that and the amount of quarts if that's all they want to do, but I never recommend that. I just recommend, flushing it all the way out. So again, continued front wiper blades are noisy and they have poor performance. They're streaking, so I just, 0.4 for them. Advise the customer of those historical DTCs concerning the sunroof. See the work order for the codes, obviously, and then it requires diagnostic and testing time, and I would suggest probably just starting with an hour with that. And if it's something that's, just erroneous codes, then we're not going to bill them that additional time, guys. So that's how we roll, or that's how I roll. on the back of the work order here, I just wrote down the codes quick and a couple notes. And like I said, I will do a part 2. I will do a part 2 to this because this may end up being a multi-part series. And this is mainly to help somebody who is, I don't know, they find interest in how other techs do it. Well, that's how I do it, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for part 2.